wanna be free with my people to prosper and hold it down. Don't you sit and wait, contemplating on a revolution. The time is now. I just wanna be free. 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 Can't you see? I just wanna be free.
Okay. Another episode of the Things I Wish I Knew About Money podcast. I'm your host, Camille Smith. Welcome, folks. I know y'all are tired of hearing me by myself, so I decided that I want to bring on a special guest. You know, I've I've met this gentleman in November, I believe. We were just talking off stage, but let me introduce Mr. Ross.
Wow. Wow. That energy. You just so excited, so
Of
excited to
course.
be part of this conversation, man. I love the energy.
Yes, done know. And we have to big up Roger Dundas
Yeah.
for this for happening, because we met at his the Buy Blacks restaurant week. So that was amazing.
Yeah.
And I was just in awe with like having the conversation, because I even though I know I could tell that you're humble, but you have so many things under your belt. So I want the people to know who you are, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for that. You know,
No worries.
um, I'm just Ross Cadastre, born and bred in Saint Lucia, the
Mm.
beautiful island of Saint Lucia. Um,
Oh.
you know, I yeah, yeah. So sorry for the Jamaicans out there. Sorry, Camille.
Ah! Hey.
No, no, but I came to if you my journey, I came to Canada like most. First for school, went to school and went back to Saint Lucia where I was from, and
Okay.
got into business in Saint Lucia. My parents owned a number of businesses, so I was very fortunate to have at an early age um, exposure to entrepreneurship.
Okay.
Yeah, so I live in Ajax with my wife and three kids. Now I don't know
Mm.
what's happening with my voice.
No worries. No, you can. He wasn't like this 2 seconds ago. You see, why are you getting nervous?
Is that you causing that? Uh, anyway, but
Yeah.
I live in Ajax with my beautiful
Mm.
wife and three wonderful, wonderful children, and that's all
Mm.
I'll give you for now.
Okay. And Saint Lucia, I have been to Saint Lucia. The two peaks. Is it the two peaks they say? I
The
believe.
pitons, the pitons.
Okay. And it was beautiful. I think that was, even though I went to Barbados at the same time, but there's something about St. Lucia that really caught my eye. So, big up yourself, but I have to represent for the Jamaicans too.
I like Jamaica as well, so
And did you love it?
yeah, I used to go to Jamaica. My wife actually worked for Air Jamaica. There's
Oh,
some people on this live would know Air Jamaica. My wife worked for Air Jamaica, so I was in
I
Jamaica every once a month.
once a month. I want to say rest in peace to Air Jamaica, because the food was phenomenal back in the day.
Yep.
Ah, I'm mad that they got rid of it.
And on some of the flights, they had actually an actual chef on the long haul flights. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they'd have a Jamaican chef. Yeah.
Dang. Well,
Crazy.
that miss and that I miss those times. But then the one thing that I heard you say is that you gain the entrepreneurship when you're back home. So not only when you're here.
Yeah.
Um, Tell us about that, because I want to see how, you're able to. You know what's a funny story? Sorry. A funny story is I feel like immigrants, when most people come to Canada, there's just like this hustle and bustle, like this different drive that comes to place, and it's like, man, I have it too, but it's something about like someone coming for like even like any part of the like different countries. It's just like what happens is the hustle and bustle. You just know how to figure out the system and everything, while us
Yeah.
Canadians are like,
Truth be told, I had a number of people
yeah.
in my life that were entrepreneurs. My grandmother on my mother's side,
Mm,
my parents both grew up in a poor village,
mm-hmm.
but my grandmother had her own business, right?
Okay.
And how we call it in the island. She had a rum shop, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
And every weekend we used to go down there, and then she was the
Mhm.
well, first woman entrepreneur that I got exposed to, and
Yep.
watching her manage her business and also her customers, because the man, they come, they drink,
Mhm.
and they don't pay.
Mhm.
That was my first exposure. But on the island, because I was exposed to my dad being in business, my
Yeah.
grandmother being in business, it became a natural thing for me to always be involved in business. I started my first business at high school in St. Lucia.
Whatcha? Whatcha? What was the business?
So, for those who know, who remember videotapes, my father
for
was,
for the millennial or the younger millennials and Gen Zs, they ain't
yeah,
gonna know what that is,
yeah,
but
yeah, yeah. But my dad used to be an avid movie collector. I mean,
okay.
he had like 3,000 movies. And then one day I said, what if I borrow these movies and rent them out? So I used to rent movies at school to
Okay.
my schoolmates, and
So you're a blockbuster.
I was the local blockbuster, right? And I didn't know what I was doing, but it was, when something's naturally part of what you do, you just do it.
Mm. Yeah.
So I was making, and the reason why, and again, you say, you go into a business to solve a problem, right?
True.
But the reason why I started, to be honest, was
Mhm.
I was tired of the sandwiches my mother gave me every week. And there was the shop where you could buy all these stuff in the store, um,
Mhm.
the restaurant on site. So
Yeah.
I figured, my dad gave me a small allowance, but when I rented the movies, I could buy anything I wanted, right? So I did that. That was my first business. Actually, the second one that I started was actually when I was at school here in Canada.
Mhm.
I actually started a computer business. I sold computers. Again, the need, right? So I saw a
Mhm.
need.
Yes.
I saw a need in the market where first year university students hardly ever owned computers, right? But they had to do a computer course in their first year. So I
Mhm.
got into the
Mhm.
bookstores and I kind of just displayed computers, three
Yeah.
different models of computers, and people come by, they buy it. I
Mhm.
deliver it and install it for them. So that was my second business. Was called second business and my first official business, registered business.
Okay.
That's called Crown Computer Sales.
Okay. That, you know what? I like how you're able to see the need in certain things and be able to help the students.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm not gonna lie, when I was in university as well, I was helping with tutoring. Like when it came to, oh my gosh, what is it? Microeconomics?
Oh,
I
oh,
was it micro? No, 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 that's a lie. Stats. Because I was like, wait, microeconomics is really tricky. But stats, like you were able to have like I know we call it cheat sheet back in the day, but something to help you during your exams. And mine was phenomenal. The way I would put every single thing on there, and people would see that and like, oh, can I scan that? Or even get do tutoring.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's wonderful how you're able to find the need when you're in university,
yeah.
and then bring it into adulthood. You know.
Yeah, it's very interesting because the entrepreneurship journey, especially in our community, we
Hmm.
start a business based on what we're good at.
Yes.
But it's important that what we're good at, that it's a need. What problem are you trying to solve? And
True.
you, to your example, it's very clear that the problem that you're trying to solve by doing tutoring. So I think that's
Exactly.
important.
Okay, and then so you had your first official business in
Yeah,
Canada,
yeah,
and how'd you? Because something about hearing Whitby Chambers of Commerce, I get ecstatic. I'm like, hold on. How does these things happen? But I know that's like just a fraction of what you do. And we were
yeah.
talking offline, like, oh my gosh, how do you find time? But how did you start off with ITS Global? Let me start with your true baby.
So interesting story. So I've been in the recruitment industry for like 28 years. When I
Okay.
yeah, so when I started in recruitment,
Hmm.
I always tell people jokingly, I didn't even know how to spell recruit, right? I didn't know the industry even existed.
Yeah.
When companies would pay you to find staff for them. So
Mm.
I started with a company, and I can never forget that. The guy says to me, my employer, my prospective employer said to me, "Hey Ross, I think we want to hire you." I said,
Okay.
"Okay, excellent. I'm ready." He says, "But we're going to have to train you." Now, I can't charge you for the training that I'm going to give you.
Hmm.
So you can't charge me for coming to work. That's what, what I was told.
Jeez.
And the role was 100% commission, right?
Mm.
I made my first deal or placement in
Hmm.
3 weeks. In 3 weeks.
3 weeks.
And then they offered to pay me. They offered to pay me because they didn't want to lose me, right? So, and the rest is history. I just grew from company to company, from small company
Yeah.
to global companies to large to multinational companies, and worked. But to your question, like, why did I start my business?
Hmm.
Um, I would say two reasons. Um, the first one is because why all black people start a business, right? A lot of times is because anti-black systemic racism
That
in
too.
corporate
Yes.
Canada. So that's one of the reasons. The second
Okay.
reason, quite frankly, I work for a global company,
Yeah.
and I was tired of making money for people who didn't know I existed. I ran an operation here in Canada for an organization, and I could just imagine them in the US saying, "Hey, we got a guy in Canada. He's making us a ton of money.
Hmm.
It's a guy or if it's a girl, but it doesn't matter. He's making us a ton of money." So
Interesting.
I was actually didn't want to I wanted to ensure that I could do this on my own. I
Hmm. Hmm.
quit my job, and this is important. I quit my job with nowhere to go. I went home on the couch. That's when I
Yeah.
grew a beard, right? Honestly, this is not a real life. My wife is panicking,
Yeah.
okay, totally panicking
Yes.
because she's like, "What are we gonna do? You just quit your job, right?"
Hmm.
I was at university, and then I decided I wanted to take everything out of the recruiting industry that I didn't like, and just keep the things that I like. And I started ITS Global about 6 years ago, and we've done
Oh,
pretty well.
yeah. But I can only imagine how it was for your wife to be nervous, but she trusted in you that you would. And then it's always about getting a beard to be able to find a way. Um, what were some? I don't want to say challenges because I see Mr. Vibe is in here, Doctor Vibe. Greetings,
All the
greetings.
opportunities.
Yes, yes. Yes, what are the great opportunities that you were able to experience with starting from scratch?
Yeah,
Really. Kind of
yeah,
from scratch, but you had the knowledge.
I had the knowledge. For sure, I had the knowledge. And starting your own business is not easy. And we bootstrapped our business with no funding and no financing. All right,
Mhm.
just using our own resources, and that's challenging. Okay, but I think for me, what I think I did to overcome a lot of that is I gave myself no choice. And the
Mm.
best decision I made was to
Yeah.
make that decision to go into business with a wife who's not at work because my wife didn't work, a daughter in university, okay,
Jeez.
and bills to pay. You know why? I gave myself no other option but to be successful,
Mhm.
right? So I gave myself no other option, right? And I think when we think about the whole business landscape, it's very important that we can't have a foot one foot in and one foot out. I
True.
haven't seen many people being successful that way. But, I went through the same challenges. I remember when we when I tell people I'm going to my own business, people say, "Why you want to do that? You were an executive of a big company. You get a call a week for people to hire you to pay you big money.
Yeah.
Why would you want to go do it on your own?" So, not listening to the naysayers, right? And
Mhm.
also,
Mhm.
and also just never giving up. The challenges will come. The challenges came with finances. The challenges come with staffing. The
Mhm.
challenges come with competitors. You'll have challenges trying to even figure out how you're going to grow your company, you
Yeah.
know. But those will come, but you have to turn those into opportunities, right? So I'll give one quick example. When
Yeah.
COVID happened, we started by 2019, we started to accelerate, and then COVID
Yeah.
happened, right? And I remember sitting in my office, the whole country is shut down, the whole world is shut down, and I'm saying to myself, okay, you have a plan. Your plan is to hire a few salespeople, hire some more support staff, and really try to grow this company. Why are you why are you not doing that? And I made a
Mhm.
decision there and then to continue to do what my plan said I needed to do, work hard and do it. And I tell people all the time, the following year we grew 300%. That's because we stuck to it. You know. And we do some other interesting things, but that's the kind of thing. I love entrepreneurship.
And with like, cause the pandemic helped people accelerate or stay stable. But I guess you were able, with you having the plan that you had, how long were you able to pivot from the pandemic with that?
Yeah. So I'll tell you what we did. So by by March, I made the decision that I was
Mhm.
going to continue to hire, and we hired key people, uh,
Mhm.
and they were up and running by July. We were hired and had them running, and our
Mhm.
business started to do this from July. Okay, we had lost 6 months of the year, so we
Yeah.
didn't finish the year as we wanted to, but
Mhm.
it set us up for the following year. Another thing we did too is, and I want to share this with in anything you do,
Mhm.
partnerships are important. So I started reaching out to people in my industry and saying, how can we work together? How can we partner? And it's like when you start a restaurant and you have a
Mhm.
special recipe for a cake, you don't want anybody to know. You don't want your competitors to even come to your restaurant to see what you do, right? But
Yeah.
it's so super important. There's enough business for all of us, and that's the mindset we adopted. There's enough business for all of us, so how can we partner with other organizations so that we
Yeah.
can we can achieve more, right? So that were the key things we did in COVID that I thought really helped our business.
Collaboration and partnership is one of the key factors of like helping or and having a team, of course, because you had a sales team, so that's a grand idea. And was this alongside, so when did BIPOC's jobs come true?
So okay, all right. So that's a great question. So when one of the ethos of our company is that we're always innovating. So what ITS stands for is Innovative Talent Solutions. So
Mm.
so as I think about the company's growth, I
Mm.
always think about how do we innovate.
Yeah,
BIPOC jobs, how did
yeah.
that come across? How did we start there? BIPOC jobs started as my give back to the community.
Okay.
When we all remember in May when 2020 when George Floyd was murdered, right?
Mm-hmm.
Shortly after that, we saw an awakening across corporate North America to want to do something, to want to
Mm-hmm.
do better. Some organizations use it as a checkbox. Some organizations
Mm.
really believe in it. So, as our organization kind of started to evolve, I wanted to give back. And, my skill set is in talent. So, I sat with a developer over
Yeah.
48 hours, right? And we built a website called BIPOCJobs.ca.
Mm-hmm.
And what that website does, that platform does, it allows companies to post jobs looking for Black, Indigenous, people of color talent,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and it allows that talent to be able to apply for those jobs. So it's like a niche job site, like a
Mm-hmm.
monster, like an Indeed. And it was free when we started. Like we did the work and it was free. So we had that site up. About 2 years ago, I wanted to accelerate
Yeah.
the the web platform, so
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to charge companies to post their jobs, and then use that income to grow the base of a number of people. So as of September last year, we
Yeah.
launched a brand new site. We're
Eh.
pretty excited. Every day there are a couple new jobs up there. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
there are great people that look like us,
Yeah.
and also from other underrepresented groups that
Mm-hmm.
want to find their next career. And that is all in a part of how do we help um, underrepresented groups build
Mm-hmm.
wealth in
Yeah.
Canada. So I'm pretty proud of that platform and what it
Yeah.
has done, what it has become, and I can
Yes.
see one of the top um, job boards in Canada when it comes to diversity.
Okay. Wha- wha- make sure you pat yourself on the back and everything. With that, so that is true. We do notice that when it comes to BIPOCs, it's tricky. I'll say tricky to get certain positions because once they see your name, they're like, oh.
Yeah,
But like the fact that you're able to get this job board and then actually get people to the organizations to pay for it.
yeah.
Woo! Do you see what is the, if you could say it, if you can answer it, like the success rate for the individuals that are hired or yeah, hired? What's the success rate?
That is that is a great question, and
Yeah.
unfortunately, I don't have that answer. And I'll tell you.
Ah!
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. I have a reason why.
Mm,
Remember, I told you when I started it, 48
yeah.
hours we were on a site. It wasn't a pretty site, right?
True.
There was nothing coding, there was nothing on the back end. We just wanted to connect employers to candidates and get more, I say we BIPOC focusing on the B, getting
Yeah.
more Black people employed in
Mm,
corporate Canada. Now
okay.
that we have a new site, we've incorporated um, we
Analytics.
incorporated all that analytics, and we've just gone through our quarter. But I'll tell you this: what
Uh,
we do have happening, what we do have happening is we have a number of testimonies from people who found jobs from the site, as well as
perfect.
from clients saying, and a number of clients come back and renew their memberships with us just because they find it a good source for what they're looking for.
And that's key, right? Because
Yeah.
without testimonies, um, we don't really know like if everything's great, but like with at least with testimonies, hopefully I spelled it right. You're able to like figure out like, okay, I see the value in this and it's actually helping the community and making things better. So I'm glad you're able to see those
Yeah.
testimonies. Testimonials are key. I actually was told the other day that I need to get more testimonials and things. So hopefully anyone that's watching and has gotten services or even has been on here,
Yeah.
Dr. Vibe, since he's still in the chat.
Yeah.
And he said a rude thing before or a joke is the way that you were able being bald was able to help you with the success rate.
Because Dr. Vibe is ultra successful because of
Yes,
because of his
right?
head.
And with you living in Durham, that's
Yeah.
actually a perfect place because you're able to see what's going on with what's happening in Durham. And I almost forgot that, not that I forgot, but a board member of BBPA, like that
Yeah.
that to me, I'm like, watch out, wait. The man have enough things under him belt. Oh, you find time to do all this stuff. And how were you able to source out that, not source out, how were you able to join that board, and just to be able to, because it still goes with the same purpose that you have, is there's needs that you see and you want to help as much as possible. So did you get the pleasure of joining the forces with them?
Yeah. I followed the BBPA prior to being board chair. I
Mm-hmm.
followed even a member of the organization. I followed the organization for a number of years, and
Mm-hmm.
really, I believe in community. I
Mm-hmm.
believe in helping, and I said my father was a serial entrepreneur. The other side
Yes.
of my father was he gave back a lot. He was
Mm,
always involved in community organizations and giving back his time. So I totally believe in community. And when I saw some of the moves that the BUP were making in, I would say around 2017, 2018,
yeah.
I wanted to be a part. So I actually put up my hand and said and just got nominated, had myself nominated to be a board
Yeah.
member of the BUP, and I was very ecstatic when I got in, you
Yeah.
know, and I got in on the board. And the BVP has been building. We've been in building mode. Organization, we run 20 programs with a very,
Hmm.
very small staff. When we started, we were an
Yeah.
operating board. I mean, when I say operating, 30% of my time was spent doing
30. Jeez.
while trying to build my business. And
Mm-hmm.
same was for every board member. Every board member spent a significant amount of their time, um,
Mm.
because, and the reason is because there was so much need, and there still is so much need in our community, right? There's so much need in the black business space, and you know we got really really involved um, as board members to fill those needs. I can tell you that getting calls late at night during
Mm-hmm.
COVID from business owners saying, "Listen, I don't know how I'm going to pay my rent. Right? I can't get approved
Mm-hmm.
for a CEDA." So it's great to kind of look from the outside and say, this is great, but a lot of work goes into it. And as board chair, we've evolved. We
Yeah.
have a bigger staff now. We have
Mm.
leadership.
Yes.
Uh, we have leadership that takes care of that. But my thing from a BBVA perspective is that
Mm-hmm.
we got to figure out no black business gets left behind.
Mm.
And
Mm.
whether you go up north to Nunavut or you right here in Toronto,
Yeah.
all of our challenges are the same. And I can talk about BBPA for like a whole hour because I'm really, really, really,
A-
really like
and there's
excited.
two locations.
Well, we have an office downtown on Elm Street.
That's
Um,
one I've been to.
yes, and then we recently, over a few years ago,
Mm.
opened a small satellite office in Little Jamaica.
Okay, okay. Big
Um,
up little Jamaica.
yeah, man. Yeah, and Little Jamaica is real close to my heart because what these businesses have been through uh,
Mm.
last 12 years has been crazy. To even some of them still in a position to still be around, it's just amazing, right?
Yeah.
But we do a lot of work in Little Jamaica, helping those businesses with the resources that they need,
Mm.
for them to grow their business and to drive traffic back to Little Jamaica. So, to everybody out there, visit Little
Mm.
Jamaica, right?
Exactly.
Every cent we spend in our community stays in our. Let's keep it in our community, right?
Exactly, because there's a saying that it takes, I think, less than 6 hours.
Yep, seven
It
hours.
stays.
Yeah, and we really and you know what, Camille? I made a deliberate attempt about
Hmm.
3 4 years ago
Yeah.
that if there is a black business that can provide the service,
Yes, that's it.
I'm not going anywhere else.
Exactly.
Okay,
And you know what's the best place to find that? With Roger Dundas of Buy
black,
Black.
black, yeah,
Ah!
yeah. We
Right?
gotta do a plug, right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
Actually, I got a call. Someone called me for to get their taxes done. And at first I was like, how does man find me? And then they actually said like, yeah, I found you on a website like on buybacks. I was like, I'm like, big up Roger. Ah, ah, ah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
Like
that's important. Yeah.
it's important. It's important for us to do that because when we look at other communities, the Jewish community, uh,
Hmm.
is one that sticks out. You
Yes.
know, they've mastered the art of that.
Yeah. Them and the Asians. Most of them. Like,
And the Asians as well. Yeah,
yes.
we
Like,
need to reinvest in our community. You know,
and trust we need to build that trust with each other. And there's that's a whole other topic.
yeah,
But I mean, there are, slow and steady wins the race, but also, like you said, 3 to 4 years ago, you wanted to basically, first off, like, okay, there, if someone that is of, you know um, Caribbean, African descent, I'm gonna
mhm,
go for them. And that's I want to say I do that mostly. Sometimes, the food
yeah,
that I like,
yeah, yeah,
sometimes the food I like is a little bit different. But
yeah.
I appreciate, obviously I appreciate, like, big up twice as nice, or even wraps.
Raps,
Every
yeah,
time, every time I'm in the West, I try
yeah,
my best. I'm like, oh, let me just pass Eglinton and just go that way. I Oh, that jerk chicken. Ooh.
yeah. We have to, have to. And you know what? I will tell you, not
Hmm.
all my experiences have been great by using, but that's normal for anything, right? You
Yeah.
know, you'll get the good and the bad, and
Hmm.
the only difference, I'm
Yeah.
gonna say this here, and it might be very controversial. When I have a bad experience with a black business,
Yeah.
I'm not out there. I'm not out there trying to put them down.
Mm,
Right?
mm,
I'm not,
mm.
because I understand that where we came from is a
Exactly.
different place than any other group, right? So I understand that we may not have it all together. I understand that there may be challenges, right?
Hmm.
So
Working
I
together.
tend to not try to pull us down.
Hmm.
I want us up.
But you must see, sometimes you see on Facebook, in the black community group. My
Yeah,
gosh, sometimes I'm just watching. I'm like, this bacchanal that I'm seeing right now, yeah.
it can get crazy, but we have to have if we're gonna, because in the Jewish community they don't rise
Hmm.
up each other. They're you know, and we
Yeah.
have to, if we're gonna go somewhere, uh, we have to
Patience.
understand. Yeah, we have to have patience with each other. We have to
Hmm.
understand that we won't always get it right, and a lot of that comes from where we started from as a
Hmm.
black community, and all the challenge and all the lack of access, you know, to certain things, whether it be financing, whether it be resources, whether it be networks, that all, that's that's generational stuff that can't
Go
doesn't
away
go
in 2 seconds.
away right away. So it's very important that we do that.
And like with those challenges, and obviously the BBPA having those resources, have you seen it been approving, like in the last, let's, even though it's tricky because of like, I don't know, everyone says post pandemic or whatnot, but like I think now, because especially the pandemic, the resources to find information, and you have to put in the work a little bit too, right? Do you find that people are able to utilize the resources that are there for them?
Yeah, I think so. So what the pandemic and even more so the new thinking, which is
Mm,
going away of funding different programs to help Black communities,
yeah.
um, has given put us in a position where now we have some access to some of the resources.
Yes.
Okay, but it's
Yeah.
not enough, right? It's not enough. But what I am very proud of is when we look at some of the businesses. Like I had one lady call me, who I know for a number of years, and she kind of went through one of the programs at BBPA. And
Mm,
when she called me, and she was almost in tears that
mm,
she thought alone. Okay, so the journey's a little bit longer. So BBPA helped her with a business plan.
yes.
Also,
Nice.
that led to her being in a program called Ready to Scale for Loblaw. So she has,
Oh, yes, yes,
yeah,
yes.
yeah, so she does sauces and stuff like that. And right, so
I
she
think
had
I
the
know what you're
opportunity to
talking
display her sauces, right,
about. Yeah.
to Loblaw. Loblaw wanted to put it in 300 stores, right? So, and so the day she called me crying is that because she had a business plan, because she had her financials, because she had all of that coaching support from BBPA, she got a loan from the bank to be able to produce the goods to be able to
Nice.
supply to Loblaw. And now she's in Sobeys and she's in a number of different restaurants. And that's just
Watcha.
one example. So when
Mm-hmm.
the question has what has changed, I think we're seeing a lot more examples of Black businesses kind of um, ready to scale, ready to grow, and they're moving in the right direction. And
But they have to take the opportunity
they
to
have
get
to.
the help.
And
Mm-hmm.
I always say entrepreneurship is not for everybody. It's not. It's a tough subject. It's not for everybody. So I mean, but at the end of the day, I think I think there are a number of organizations, not just the BBPA, a number of organizations that are serving the Black community and doing a lot of good things,
Yeah.
um, for the Black community. So, I mean, if we just can come together, okay,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
if we can help each other, not pull down each other, and understand that people will, those business owners or maybe my business, we're not perfect, okay, um, and then we grow together, right? So I think you know a bit of a mental shift
Yes.
for us
Yeah.
as a community, and look
Mm-hmm.
at the resources.
And I like what you said, like working together and also giving or providing feedback, especially because we aren't perfect, but bashing someone down isn't going to help them. It's just
Yeah,
going to hinder them in the long run. So like actually having a time like, hey, I know you're trying,
yeah,
or like, and I'm not saying any restaurant.
yeah,
So you go into a restaurant and them look screw face, because that's what that was always a joke with
yeah,
some Caribbean restaurants, and I'm not talking about any Caribbean restaurant. And then they just look pleasant. So it's like, oh, like, even though I know it's harder for a man to say it to a lady, to, hey, just smile, because catch them on the wrong time, you'll get cussed.
yeah,
But like, so sometimes you can say like, oh, like, put that frown upside down type of thing,
Yeah.
and hopefully they'll be able to realize, or like, oh, the way I'm appearing is going to bring more people in, especially
Correct.
if you're able to say like hi, or even just try to cheer up someone and just say a different saying like, oh, why are you so sad? Like, smile. There's different ways to, like, make someone smile.
Yeah.
And that's one important thing about giving or coming together as a community
Yeah.
is being patient and thoughtful.
I think so. I think so. And there's nothing wrong. I mean, I've used people in our community and they didn't
Mm.
do a good job, and I call them aside and say, listen,
Hmm.
didn't, this really didn't turn out how we wanted it to. Okay, and we paid you thousands of dollars for it. However,
Hmm.
however, let's figure out how we can fix this. Not
Mm.
going on Facebook or and just tearing them down, because that's not
Yeah.
going to anybody. And furthermore, it's not even going to get you your money back.
That's true. Unless they feel real bad or like, oh my gosh, here, just take back the money.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
there's probably like only 5% that will
yeah,
actually do that, right?
yeah.
And when it comes to, so I want a better understanding, and I know I'm so fascinated with it. Is the Whitby
Chamber of Commerce.
Yes.
Yeah,
What is that about per se? Because I hear it, I get excited. I'm like, wow, this must be big, big, big things.
so the Whitby Chamber of Commerce is a 95-year-old chamber that supports businesses across Durham, and
Okay.
through um, networking and giving them access. So we do a number of different events.
Mhm.
Um, one how I got involved is I was asked to speak at a Black History Month event that they were doing.
Nice. Mhm.
From there, I spoke at the event. I said, they're pretty cool. I think 700 members in the organization. A lot of smaller businesses, a lot of,
Mhm.
and if you know Durham, Durham is heavily black populated now and growing. So that population is growing. So as a percentage, you can imagine there are a number of black owned businesses. So
Yeah.
I joined there. They have a diversity DEI committee. So I sit
Mhm.
on that committee because I
Nice.
wanted to understand the organization. Of course, I became a member of the organization.
Mhm.
And then when a year ago, I said, okay, let's see if we can get on the board. I got on the board and I got voted in as vice president of the board. And
Watcha.
yeah, yeah, and I think it's important that I said a big thing, and I said this to you. A big thing
Mhm.
for me is we need to be, as black people,
Mhm. Mhm.
we need to put ourselves in positions not only to help us grow,
Yeah.
okay, but we need to be in positions that our children and the future generation can look up and they can say, I can be there too. I can be this person too. And I think, I talk about this a lot. I think that's, the biggest thing that Obama did in his tenure was just being president. That that,
Mhm.
that kids can look, my daughter can look and say, I can probably be Prime Minister of Canada one day. Because Obama was president of the United States. So
That's
I think
very true.
apart from wanting to give back and wanting to be involved in the business sector in Durham, that
Yeah.
was my why for being involved in the Whitby Chamber.
And that is very special because, and I'm not dogging anyone. Most times people see like the athletes and the entertainers and the artists, but it's also important with like the small businesses, the entrepreneurs, and just the people that are like keeping Durham up to a certain way, and that's really important because yeah, Durham's big. It's from Pickering to, I want to say Oshawa, but Bowmanville could be part of it.
Yeah, it's from Pickering to Clareton, Yeah,
Huh.
so, or even for I think yeah. So Carrington, Bowmanville,
Yeah.
uh,
Me don't
Oshawa.
go that far. Oshawa is my it's my breaking point. I'm like, listen, anyone else? Anyone else? Yes. I'll see you on Zoom.
Yeah, you gotta live a little, man. Canada's a big country, and you know
I
what?
know, but Bowmanville's far.
So we talk about Bowmanville being far. I had the opportunity over the last few years to go to Nunavut and Yellowknife, and there are black people there, but
I
apart from being
know.
black people there are black businesses there.
Yeah.
You
Shucks,
know,
and none of it.
yeah. So we can't
Sheesh.
we can't limit ourselves. We gotta keep
Me
going.
know, but it's too cold there. It's- you know what? I do know someone that is there, and there's like more incentives, but I don't know.
It's cold.
Yeah, it's cold. Like I already have people that are like, oh, you should come visit Alberta and see how. I'm like, but it's cold. I don't like the cold.
Yeah,
I I know there's so much more to see in Canada.
yeah,
And even like what Nova Scotia, where it's like
yeah. Nova
I
Scotia.
haven't been there. Hmm?
Nova Scotia is nice, and you want to see black success. Nova Scotia is a
Mm,
place where you see true black success.
true. What did Dr. Vibe say? I see him writing. He's saying, really? That's news to me. I think that's when we said he's successful because he's truly bald. And I've been to Yellowknife, great place. Okay. I'll take it into consideration. I'll take it into consideration. But definitely like giving back and just I feel like you're able to understand so much more with how like the system works in Canada and Durham.
Yeah, yeah.
And how do you find time? That's what I want to know. How do you find time to have all these lovely things and then you have a lovely family as well?
Well, I think so. First of all, they say when you want to get something done, you give it to the busiest person that'll get done, right?
Mm,
So I guess there's evidence in me for that, but um, I think the I don't see myself as being extremely busy. First of all,
okay.
um, I've had my wife and my kids have
Hmm.
been, I mean, they have been really, really supportive of the
Yes.
work that we do. So
Yes.
that makes a difference. That makes a big, big difference.
True.
Very supportive of the work that we're trying to do. We're very aligned with where
Mm,
where, where we're going. Um, you
that's
know,
key.
so that's the first thing. Other than that, I just make it happen. I think when I was at high school in St. Lucia, my teachers used to call me the social activities director because I was part of every club, every
Mm,
thing. So they used to call me the social activities director. So I never see things as hard work. I never see things as impossible. You
hmm
know, I always look at kind of where we need to go to, and kind of just focus on that.
mm. And because of the title, how do you? What's the most? Um, not the most. Sorry. When it comes to helping people become extraordinary, what is like three key things that you need to help them become that? I know that was a
Extraordinary.
additional. Yes, because you had the you have ordinary people doing extraordinary things.
Yes.
That's one of
Yes.
your mottos. How do
Yes.
you how do you help with that?
Well, I think the different let me say the different ways to look at it. So the first of all, is always be you, right? Okay, just be you, right? And sometimes you look at yourself and say, I'm too quirky, or I'm too this, I'm too that. Just be yourself, right? The second thing I tell people is any environment you go to into,
Mhm.
any environment that you go into, make yourself memorable. So I walk into a coffee shop, and I kid you not, that person serving me
Yeah.
coffee
Yeah.
will remember me. Just naturally, she'll remember me. And if I walk out and I walk back in the next day, she will remember the guy from yesterday, right?
Nice.
Because I'll say something, I'll do something, I'll make a comment that will make me memorable, right? Um, and then I think the third thing is never be afraid, never be afraid to have the conversation. Never be afraid to meet people. Never be afraid to take a chance on yourself. I always say, as an entrepreneur, if
Mhm.
if people are telling you going in the wrong direction, you're probably going in the right direction.
Hey.
Because we as a people are typically risk averse, right? You know? So you gotta trust your gut,
Mhm.
okay, and
Mhm.
keep on going.
I love this one. I love especially. It's like it's something that I always hear time and time again. Just be yourself.
Yeah. Be yourself. Be yourself. Yeah, that's totally key.
Mhm. And memorable. That and see, I always ask folks, what are I know this is like a additional. What are the three things you wish you knew about money when you were younger? I know it could be a little bit different because you had that entrepreneurship from time.
Having entrepreneurship spirit doesn't mean that you're necessarily good at finances. Eh? Depends on where you start, right? I mean, like
Hey.
stuff for me,
Mhm.
the power of compound interest, right? If I had taken some of that money that was making when I was renting those videos and put it aside in saving, then
Yep.
probably I wouldn't be sitting here, right? So really, the power of compound interest is something that I wish I knew. I had a
Mhm.
grasp of when I was younger.
Yes.
The other thing for me, actually, you know, I got a handle on it pretty early.
Mhm.
My wife's a lot better at it. Is the importance of budgeting, personal budget, and I'm sure you preach that all the time.
That's why the fact
Okay,
that you're saying it.
right, right, and I mean, I over time, like maybe by the time I hit university, of course, I had those
Mhm.
skills, but I think if I knew it earlier,
Yeah.
um, like not only just creating a budget, but
Mhm.
budget, right?
Mhm.
And really controlling your spending. I'll
Yeah.
give you a quick one. So something that a lot of people don't know about me,
Yeah.
okay, or people who've met me in the last, I don't know, 20 years don't know about me. Um, I used to DJ back in the day.
Okay. What was your name? DJ.
Black Gold, right?
Say it again.
Black Gold.
Okay. DJ
But, but,
Black Gold.
but the reason why I said that is I'm saying this is because I made a lot of money DJing, and I would invest the money in clothes and shoes and records and things. So if I had a proper budget for my clothes, a proper budget for my shoes, then I probably would not spend a lot. So I think
Yeah.
budgeting is key. And I think the last one, I don't know what I would say, the value of delayed gratification, right? Learning to resist the urge of instant gratification, and looking at prioritizing your financial goals, and that I think will lead to better financial outcome. And it's so true, because you ever walk into a store and you see a nice pair of shoes and you say, I want those shoes.
Mhm.
Okay,
Mhm.
you buy them, and then a month later you walk by the store and now it's 50% off. Right? So if you had waited, you give it time.
You
Right?
get cheese. I'm not much of a shopper, but I think my kryptonite is food.
Yeah,
There are
yeah,
times I'm like, nope, I don't care. I'm getting this food. I don't care. I don't care. Then when I could have just, prepared a meal, take time and make the meal. But sometimes when you want what you want, but I love this one the most because there's a lot of individuals that think, there's quick money schemes that are happening,
yeah,
and that's really hindering our community as well. And it's like I, I was literally looking at something, the stock market.
yeah,
I seen the stock market. It was like March 2022, or not 2022, March 2020.
yeah.
Let's say, gosh, let me find the photo because I was so upset. It literally was like let's say Apple stock was like $55 at the
Yeah.
time, and then it went back up to like 200. You're like,
I should have bought.
wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Or even the other day when I was talking about Nvidia, I saw someone, I asked a question like, have you had that stock before? And someone was like, I sold it on in 2020, July. I was like,
Oh, I'll tell you something. Years ago, right
yes,
in the beginning of Bitcoin,
yeah. Oh,
a friend of mine, or not, it wasn't even a friend, somebody I was doing some business with, told me, "You
mm,
should get into this. You should get into this."
yes,
Right? He says, just $1,000, not even much,
yes.
$1,000. I said, Bitcoin, what's that? Fast forward to today. If I had just put that $1,000 in there,
You'd be flying everywhere.
yep, yep,
You'd be flying to Mars. Oh, here I found it. So Apple was $60 March 12th, 2020, and now it's 173. That one's not as great as Nvidia, but
yeah,
like
it's crazy. It's
just
crazy.
having delayed gratification, like I was saying, or my little baby is AMD. So when I got AMD 2020 or 2019, I got it at $13.
Wow.
And now it's like 200. I was like,
Wow. Good for you. Good
right?
for
And it's knowing that there's things long term that's gonna
you. Yes.
you're gonna have or going to want. So you don't it's okay. When you're in your 20s and 30s, it's okay. Build.
Yeah.
Right?
It's very
Jeez.
important. Yeah.
It's this is building. And is there any other, because I know you love to stay busy, are there any other avenues that you have coming up, or is it hush on the hush hush?
No, no. Actually, we're launching a technology company. We've already built the technology in the AI space, and it's
You
also
told me that when we first met, right? Yes, yes, yes,
yes,
yes,
yes,
yes. Ooh,
yeah.
tell us more.
So that's pretty exciting for us
Yes,
because we're building technology in AI, and AI is the latest trend. So there's a lot of learning. There's a lot of interest in it, but there's a lot of learning for us too as an organization. So I'm pretty excited about that.
yes. I would
Other than
love
that,
to. I
I
need to
would,
hear about that offline.
yeah, for sure.
Cause and just you saying that is AI.
Yeah.
Jeez, AI. What would you recommend for folks like millennials or the younger generation when it comes to AI?
From what standpoint? From how to learn it?
Yeah, or just yeah, how to learn it? Cause
So like this technology continues to evolve, right?
mm-hmm.
And I think it's important for us to embrace it, whatever the new technology is. And AI is really taking the world by storm. And I think
Mm-hmm.
I think like even just starting and using ChatGPT,
Yep.
okay, to understand how that works. to look at the different how AI is being used in a lot of applications. So I opened Canva. My
Yeah.
team uses Canva to design. So they sent me a design and they said it's in Canva, look at it. So I went into Canva to look at the design.
Yeah.
Okay. And I noticed Canva has AI. So you can
Mm-hmm.
so everything is getting everybody seems to be integrating AI into everything that they do. So I
Even
think we
Outlook.
yeah, outlook. So I think it's important that we so if I'm speaking to the younger generation, get ahead of the
Mm,
there's
yeah.
so much information available around AI and its uses and how you use it and how you build it and that sort of thing. Get
Yeah.
ahead of it. I don't think it's going
Mm-hmm.
to take jobs away. I don't think, every technology that has come, they say, oh,
Yeah.
this technology is going to take jobs away. It's going
Yeah.
to be a higher level job, right? So get involved in it because I believe that AI is going to be applied in every
Mm.
industry.
Jeez.
So kind of get ahead of the curve and get into it and learn it.
Yeah, and when it does launch, definitely want I have you on LinkedIn, so I definitely want to see when that come true because I want
Yeah.
to support. And how can the folks find you, Ross?
Well, I am very, very active on LinkedIn, um,
Okay.
Instagram, and
Mm-hmm.
Facebook. So you can just type in my name, look me up, and send me a note. Send me a note. Love to connect with folks.
Mm-hmm.
So you can follow me on LinkedIn.
Boom, bum, bum. There you have it, folks. Ross, it's been an amazing conversation because I've from being a serial entrepreneur from when you're a bond and just being able to understand like your value.
Yeah,
3 weeks, the fact that you were able to find someone in 3 weeks and it was like that determination,
yeah.
and then be able to realize you're like, okay, I'm making these people so much money. I can do this too.
Um,
All it takes is a bald head and a beard, and support and alignment with family for you to be able to succeed. So I thank you so much. Like, do you want to say anything last
so
to the folks?
thanks for having me. This has been great. It's a
Yes.
great way to spend my afternoon just talking about, the journey and
Hmm.
pouring out to people. And thank you for having me. And um, hopefully we'll do this again.
Absolutely. And next time we'll see each other in person and things.
Yeah, for sure. Let's do it.
Right? And folks, make sure you like, subscribe, tell a friend, and that is all, folks. Blessings on this Saturday.
I just wanna be free with my people to prosper and hold it down. Don't you sit and wait, contemplating on a revolution of time.